Okay, so thank you so much for coming, everyone. So we are formally starting our class today, and so before going to the text, we will, as usual, it's very important to recall or set up motivation properly. It's a repetition, but doesn't matter. If you repeat again and again, that's how we could build the meditative concentration. The verse number 29 that we are working is about how to really build, how to really strengthen our meditative concentration. People use the shamatha, vipassana, different terms are there, but the main thing is how do you stabilize our mind. And the setting motivation when do kind of with certain way, it really help to build up our strength of the concentration. So because of that, I think it's important to set our motivation. All right. Okay, now same as usual, let's the motivation is to benefit oneself and others. So when you say benefit oneself and others, the benefit, we have short-term benefit, long-term benefit, small scale benefit, large scale benefit. This is kind of common, right? And then which one we want, if possible, the long-term benefit and the large-scale benefit, right? So if you want to have the large-scale and long-term benefit, then we need to create the condition. Otherwise, no possible. And then the condition, whether we have every condition or the causes and condition within ourselves or not, probably we do have some, but there's limitation. When there is limitation, we need some help or some support or some, like a, what do you call it? Cooperation from others. And for that, we have human being, or any friends, family, teachers, that who can help us to fulfill our wish. And which in the I think it's a secular term or whatever. And you could visualize, or you could think someone that is so kind to you, genuinely kind to you. And what I can think of here, or everybody we think of it here, is His Holiness the Dalai Lama. No question that he's always there for us whenever we need it. And you could, just think very clearly, like think about his whole body, the face, his glass, how he really interacts with people. Just bring very clearly to your mind that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is right here in front of us in person. And so yeah, some of you have opportunity to see him and receive teaching. Some may haven't in person, but maybe you have seen in videos or teaching online. Of course, photos everywhere. We have photos of him everywhere. It's just say thing that this is not photo, it's the real him here in front of us. And then he's actually surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas from 10 direction right in front of you, and looking up on us like the parents or the mothers looking up on their only child. Who is the child? Us. Okay. And we are sitting in front of him and seeking, asking, requesting his you know loving, caring, and his blessing, if you like. Blessing here means that you need some, we need his guidance to live life, correctly, right livelihood, this eightfold noble path that we could follow in daily life. So he is the right kind of role model for us. And you're sitting in front of him. And then when you say that, refuge field, that's if you like, you could, that's refuge field as well. And then the bodhicitta fields is you or us sitting in front of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Buddha Shakyamuni. And then all sentient beings, human, god, goddesses, animals, hungry ghosts, and you know, from even the you talk about hell realms, animal realms, hungry ghost realms. That when you say 10 different types of beings, three considered to be higher beings and three considered to be lower beings, meaning due to their causes and condition. If you engage into the non-virtuous action most of the time and not really following the ethical conduct, we are creating kind of causes that could take us into the lower realms of birth. Doesn't matter whether you really, you know, agree that there's a, rebirth is exists or not. If we create like a bad action or negative action or negative karma, the result will be negative or suffering. And if you create, positive karma or positive action or virtuous action, the result will be always will be happiness, peace, or something benefit. So this is kind of law of nature. Nobody have created it. It's just a law of nature. And Bodhisattva when he discovered it, he didn't invent this cause and effect relationship. It's there. It's very much very work with the common sense too. So because of that, I think all all sentient beings, same as us, wish happiness and peace, and nobody wants suffering. Nobody wants uneasy life. Nobody wants disturbing mind. This is quite clear, and then we want to work with that. Then, so for that, visualize the two refuge field that we have here in His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Buddha Shakyamuni, and then any other enlightened being, any other teachers or parents or friends that you use as your role model, they are all in front of you too. And they're looking you like with great care. And they are, you know, endowed with all the knowledge. And when you say knowledge, you have like the qualities. There are so many different qualities out there, but if you summarize, there are three qualities. It's called perfect love, perfect compassion, and then perfect knowledge. And they are endowed with that. And then we also can have it, cultivate or create within our mind stream too, because we have some basic seed, the qualities. It's just a matter of how do you really, you know, germinate, how do you really activate by doing the right practice. Okay. So now we have the fish field and then with the fields. So now we want to shift to focus on your breath and do 5 minutes meditation on just focusing on the meditation. Sorry, the focus on the breath. So breathe very deep and naturally. Okay. So we're almost, well, maybe we will have another, I think, 3 4 session for sure. And more or less we cover up to verse 28, right? Now it's 29, right? Right? Okay, nice. So I guess we are talking, these verses, when you study this text, yes, try to understand the meaning of this text. Somehow it's quite easy to some of them are quite easy to understand, but the matter is whether we will be able to practice or engage into our daily life or not. That's the thing. Then we have to, try. We can try our best to live with this, you know, kind of instruction or the advice that the Bodhisattva Mulchitumyazangpo, the author of the text, is a great practitioner, really, really, really great practitioner who have left a huge legacy, is mind training. So when you say mind training, all this action, how do you really engage? How do you really prepare yourself to work toward the Bodhisattva path? And the first, 6 or 7 verses explain about it to create the condition to practice into it. And then the actual, the text, it has, you remember that it's divided into like a 3 main kind of categories, right? Preparation, preliminary, actual practice, and then the conclusion. And then the preparation, you have to create the condition, the place, your motivation, and what kind of attitude you should create in order to be able to practice and then listen, reflect, and meditate on this, practice. And then we need to come to actual practice. What is it? What is Bodhisattva, what does bodhicitta mean? And what does loving kindness mean? What kind of obstacle you have in order to be able to practice this? And there are so many, obstacles are there. And the main obstacle is not really, we can't really, pinpoint outside. Of course, there are some, since we are all, like a very beginner or ordinary people or common people, and not like someone realized high realized person. I mean, me definitely not, but I'm not sure about you. Maybe among you there's some of you may be bodhisattva, you never know, really. This is because whether the person is a really great practitioner or not is actually the matter of their mental attitude. And with their mental attitude they will, act. There are so many people really kind. They're always there to help, and when they're needed, when the other people are needed, and when they have the capacity to do help. And you know you could, even though you are really, you can't, we do not really call you as a bodhisattva, but you are inspired with the teaching of the bodhisattvas. So when you say bodhisattva is someone who is really courageously taking responsible to others, meaning acting on behalf of others. It's not really just because the others are weaker than you. If you practice, if you engage in that, the most benefit we get it, because our heart become, like a bigger, far vision person, and like a not narrow minded. It's a very open minded. We really become open minded person, and then very easy to interact with people, no matter whether you have met that person or not. We can just judge by looking at their face and their, attitude and their physical gesture. Something is there. This person have some kind of, something is really beautiful thing, something in his or her mind. You can't really say 100% that person is a bodhisattva, that person is not. But more or less 80 90% you can judge from the physical, gesture, because it's actually clearly mentioned in the classical text itself. In also Buddha also say, how can you really know that person is real bodhisattvas? And it's someone who is achieved to, like, equal, like there's 10 bodhisattvas bhumis and 6 perfection practice, and then 10 bhumis. And then the 10 bhumis actually start from path of seeing. When the person is seeing emptiness directly, directly mean there's no kind of something in between. It's like a naked eyes. For example, now my eye can see these books directly. There's no obstacle or no kind of in some kind of medium in between that my eye consciousness can see the books. But when you see the, the directly seeing and the conceptually seeing, conceptually through generic image, the term that you use through generic image. We are engaging into the object through generic image. Some kind of a image appear to your mind, and then you engage into the object. That's conceptual mind. So the conceptual minds necessarily be mental consciousness. I get it. Conceptual mind necessarily be mental consciousness, not sensory consciousness. We talk about the sensory consciousness and then mental consciousness. So when you say conceptual mind necessarily be mental consciousness, the sixth one, not the five sensory consciousness. Five sensory consciousness engage. This is what you use. The five sensory consciousness engage with its object, an object, appearance object, and in like what? Appearing object and apprehension object. But there are three, four different, kind of categories are there. Mainly, we could think about two of them. So the mental consciousness, conceptually, at the beginning, we engage into, for example, understanding impermanence, understanding of interdependency, understanding of emptiness. So, and then we need to check what does it mean by impermanence, and we find kind of a meaning of the impermanence. Impermanent means something existent but momentarily changing, meaning it's undergoing momentarily changing is impermanence. And then how can you realize that? Then it has like gross and subtle, right? And then you need to understand, if you understand the gross changes, you can see, right? You can use our own life as an example. When we were born, we were little, we can't really walk, we can't eat, we can't wear, we can't do anything, right? And then slowly our parent grew like you know brought up older, and then when you get 5 years, 6 years, go to school and then finish. When these gross kind of changes, you can tell that it kind of something that that the icon the very very gross kind of impermanence, the eye consciousness can also see. This example given, like for example, it's interesting, like in Pramana Vartika by Acharya Dharmakirti from Nalanda Master. He have given one example of, okay, one kind of house, which is like, in a minute it will just collapse. It's really air from everywhere, it's just tearing down. This kind of impermanence you could really see him directly. And another one is like, the last moment of extinguishing of the flame. So we have like a butter lamp. We have a butter lamp, for example, and we have the butter lamp. Usually, when we have butter lamp, you have the cotton rolling of in between, and then we have the oil, oil, right, or the ghee, whatever you are using, and then you lit that, right. So it's the flame will continue until the oil exhaust. When the oil is completely exhaust and completely finish or exhaust, and the very last moment is just make blink blink blink, it's just boom, it's just go, the flame is completely exhausted, finish. We can, that's impermanent, right? Just maybe like a millisecond before there was some flame is there, but the flame is gone now. And how did that happen? Because the cause is exhaust and then the result exhaust. When the cause stopped, and then the result stopped too. And same, these are the kind of gross impermanence are given. Very gross mean easy to understand. Gross mean easy to understand, meaning you don't have to use a logic or reason to understand that. It's something more like evident. Oh yeah, another term that you use, another phenomena, or another thing that you need to know when you're learning about things. In the phenomena, that's the way we use the term. Sometimes this language are so funny. People, if it's phenomenal, something extraordinary, it is a phenomenon. What is that? I was really confused. What is that? Because, but then, yeah, of course, but in the classical text, when you say phenomena, meaning some existent, existent doesn't really refer to like the life, our life, anything that exists, table, house, a mountain, animal, anything that exists in the universe is a phenomena. Okay. And all phenomena, anything that exists, we could like put in three categories. Three categories mean it could summarize in three. What are they? It's called evident phenomena. Evident phenomena. Evident phenomena, and then slightly hidden phenomena, slightly hidden phenomena, slightly, little bit hidden phenomena. Meaning, first one is first one is first one is hidden. Oh, sorry, hidden. HIDDEN. Okay, sorry. Uh, Evident phenomena, number one. Then slightly hidden phenomena, and then very hidden phenomena, extremely hidden phenomena, super hidden phenomena. So anything that exists, it falls into three of these. So when you say evident phenomena, it manifests phenomena. In order to be able to know and understand that phenomena, you don't have to use some kind of complicated philosophy or logic. For example, take a tea. It's something to drink, and some people say, okay, how do you, oh, sorry, how do you know this is singing ball? What do you say?
You can hear it, you can see it.
Yeah, see, that's really simple. You don't have to use any, oh, maybe someone created it, maybe this factory create or that factory create, or maybe someone used this different kind of material to create it. No, we don't have to think about these things. You just think about, I can see it, I can hear it. It's just right there. But right there mean also not really objectively out there, but it's a label. Yes, of course you can do you can dig into the complex philosophy, but very like evidently, you know this is something very obvious, evident phenomena. And something that you can perceive, another word, you can perceive without depend on logic and reason. Or the logic is inferential logic usually, but correct, there's a syllogism there. But that's evident phenomena. And then when you say slightly hidden phenomena, this is big category. For example, impermanent cause and effect relationship. If something like a precious, like a rebirth system, rebirth is existent of rebirth, like previous life, a future life, and then nirvana, or the liberation, cessation of the all the suffering, and the causes of the suffering, whether it's existent or not, whether the enlightenment or Buddhahood exists or not. These are slightly hidden phenomena, meaning you can't really perceive without using logic and reason, without deeper understanding and deeper knowledge. So for that, that's why we call it slightly hidden phenomena. You can prove with reason, correct reason. You can prove that it exists with the correct reason, but you can't really see without like using the inferential cognition. It's something that the evident phenomena you can perceive by the sensory consciousness as well as the mental consciousness without depending on like reason and logic. And then the slightly hidden, the two hidden phenomena, the slightly hidden phenomena, you can perceive, you can recognize depending on the correct logic or reason. Yes.
Could you give examples again of the slightly hidden?
Oh, yeah. the slightly hidden phenomena. Okay, the karma or action that have created that you you are born as a human. Can you prove that your karma that brought you as a giant, the karma that create that the karma that don't work? That's good. Someone is calling you. Sorry. Joanne is looking her her in her the karma that caused her to like burn as a human being. Whether you can prove evidently or you have to use like some reason and logic, is something is hidden, right? What do you say? I mean, your body and you is different, okay? Your physical body, which is created by your parent, that's evident. What do you say, right? But then join as a human, as a person and human. What make that? Is it made by your parent? You can think about this. Genetically, genetically. When you say genetic, yes, genetic. Genetics, eye color, hair color, structure of the body, I think comes from parents. Yeah. Just think about what she's saying, all that confused. So yes, with like the knowledge that genetics are creating her blue eyes and like certain genes in your body, is that a slightly hidden phenomena? Because it's not evident.
Yeah, it's more logic and reason. I agree.
Studying field, so yeah. Sometimes they slightly hidden or that's really good topics. That's what you're bringing is really an interesting topic here. That's true. Genetic engineer, I don't know what you call it in the scientific world, someone who study about genes, right? So they can test, they can trace your kind of continuity of the substance that brought your body from where they come from, your parent, grandparent, ancestor. Like they can trace, I don't know, a couple million years, and they can show in the computer, in the machine, and whether that's like hidden or evident, you can debate on that. And yes, what do you say, the colors, the gene, the expression, gene expression, right? What do you call it, gene expression? And there's nothing contradiction between the Buddhist explanation and the science explanation. In Buddhist explanation, the philosophical text explanation about if you practice the sixth perfection, okay, and it explained like if you practice moral discipline, ethical discipline, you will be reborn in the higher being. This is explained. And then when Jimbe Longitude, oh no, sixth perfection, sorry, Jimbe Longitude give the meaning. If you practice in generosity, so the generosity are three kinds, okay? Generosity of material wealth, and generosity of protection, and then generosity of dharma. Dharma we call like spiritual teaching. So when you say generosity of wealth, meaning giving food and clothes and shelter, more like easy. That's easier to practice. The Bodhisattvas practice. That's why this sequence of the six perfection. Number one is generosity. Generosity is quite easy to practice, and then ethical discipline. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not that very difficult. That's why the number one, the second one is ethical discipline, and then profession of Jimbotsu, and then the third one is in the practice of patience. A little bit difficult, slightly difficult, more difficult than practice of ethical discipline, and Jimbotsu, and then the joyous effort. to get a joyous effort, because we are jealous, we are competitive mind and attitude, this or that. It's not really easy to practice joyous effort, right? So then it's slightly different and difficult. These are like also there's a subtlety. The subtlety is also there. The next is much subtle than the first, and this is how the numbers came up. If you practice in generosity, and then it's the result will be, you will be not really reborn, where you were born as like a with a poverty and famine, and you will get like a food, shelter, things like a small thing, that very basic necessity without much kind of difficulties. This is it actually explained. And then if you practice the moral discipline correctly, and you will be reborn in the like human or animal, sorry, higher realms, meaning human gods and goddesses. Yes, how and where and how, this is a very slightly phenomenon, extremely slightly phenomenon, still slightly phenomena. This fall, how, when that kind of action created, and how did you have created that kind of condition, and when, because in this you can't really count the year, you never know, because the continuity of the mind, yeah, we were talking another day about the the basic in the nature of the mind is pure, but how come this delusion, how come the delusion, where this delusion came from? Yeah, you need to learn. Usually, the true nature of the mind is clear and clean and pure, but the affliction are like temporarily came and blocking you to discover it. We have it, but we are not discovering it. It's quite true, right? We are not really discovering it. How many? And this is a very funny question. It's not funny, but it's really good question. Many teachers ask, "How many of you think you are Buddha? How many of you think that you are completely like pure? You have no illusion, no delusion, no jealousy, no negativities within your mind." See, we all think that yes, it's something obvious. We all have these negativities. We all have the weaknesses. We all have this, and when you realize this thing, oh, that makes you. We are not Buddha. We are not really God. Whatever term you use, gods or Buddha or Muhammad, or I don't know whether like a Mahabir, different like a religious tradition have different figures and different teachers and different like we call it Buddha doesn't mean Buddhist in a way. Buddha means someone who teach Temba in Tibetan. The word Buddha means preacher, preaching, preach. The very translation. That different way of understanding. Another understanding of Buddha means awakening, the awakened one, meaning awakened, fully awakened from sleep of ignorance. That's what it is. We are daydreaming, we are asleep, we sleep. What's that? Ignorance is bliss. I think we are all like think like ignorance and bliss. That's why we're like, what was that? A few days ago, somebody was talking about the uh, Disneyland. What was that? Yeah, when you go to the Disneyland, I have never been, but it sounds like it sounds like everybody is like everything is perfect. What illusion, right?
It's very illusion-like. I mean, it's really there, but
It's really there. Are you sure? No, you can debate now. Are you sure? No, are you sure it's really there?
it's physically there. You can go there and touch it. I've been there.
You can touch it, the tactile of the Disneyland, but you can't touch the Disneyland itself. No, see, we need to debate very now.
Right, right.
That's good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just a title, right?
Okay, no, 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 no. We need to finish this one. I was actually thinking I'm going to give this different types of morality, the ethical discipline, and then also. But I think we go to the. We finished the verse number 29 today. Okay, so verse number 29 is actually meditative concentration. Okay, where you say Vipassana, perfectly endowed with shamatha, completely conquer all affliction, knowing this and to cultivate meditative concentration that transcend the four formless states is the practice of bodhisattvas. So where it still a lot of it's actually cover a lot of topics here, right? See, vipassana vipassana is wisdom. Okay, Vipassana, and what is the difference between Vipassana and Samatha? Calm abiding, Vipassana and calm abiding. Calm abiding is more like a focusing on when you do the meditation on focusing on the breath. We meditate, just focus on the breath, just try as possible, as much as possible to just focus on the an object which is we use the breath and try to just single pointedly maintain on the particular object only, not nothing else. And multitasking is possible thing, but I think at the beginning maybe better just maintain on one object, and then just think about very clearly. You're just focus on the breathe out and breathe in and breathe out and breathe in. That's a helpful for the beginner, but you can use another object, too, any image like a Buddha image or your parents or flowers or anything. You can change the object. There's nothing wrong with that.
Does it have to be visual or could it be like sound?
Sound is also okay. You can read, but when you meditate on the like a shamatha, the object of shamatha meditation, it has my meditation has to be mental consciousness rather than the ear. The sound, we can hear the sound, and it's quite difficult to visualize sound mentally. Well, when you come to the mind, nice sound, not nice sound, loud sound, low sound, this differentiation made by the mental consciousness rather than the ear consciousness, right? Yes, you can use the sound too. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can use that sound, visual object, or smell, or taste cheesecake. I don't know, whatever food that most kind of a good one. And you could use different object, but if you change too much, sometime could be confusing, could be distracting. What do you think? It could be different between like a person to person. And when the main thing is when you do the samatha meditation, main thing what we have to do is we have to stay. Our mind should be less distracted. It should become less distraction, and then the stabilization, mindfulness. We call it the mindfulness, right? The memory skill need to be increased. If you do this samatha meditation, memory skill to remembering thing, remember that practicing mindful foundation of mindfulness practice. I think it touched slightly different earlier, but be mindful of the object and then very clear. Try as much as possible to just think about that object very clearly reflect to your mind. You can try that, and you could keep your eye open or half open and then think about when you're with your eye half open, and then just ignore or maybe just let it just be there, the other object, the the sensory conscious object, just let it be there, but just focus, just try to focus your mind itself, and then think about one object that's is not in this room, something else. Maybe that's easier, I guess. Okay, just think about um maybe think about Buddha, His Holiness and Dalai Lama. When you think about His Holiness Dalai Lama, what came your mind? How it appeared to your mind? Think about him like in person rather than image or photos or videos. Okay. How did it appear? How did it appear to your mind? Does it appear him? Maybe people can have different kind of appearance, for sure. How did you? What did it appear to your mind?
What came to my mind was just his soft skin and the glow of his skin.
Oh, I see. That's nice. How about you, again?
Let's say kind of visualize the picture.
Oh,
So it's
Oh.
trying to recreate that.
mm, mm. And Jason?
I saw a smile.
See?
And I found that when I tried to do it, I didn't see him here. I saw me there.
Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting.
I was trying to.
That's so interesting. I know, but Scott.
I've never been in this presence. It's hard to, I have so many images from pictures. So that's what
Oh.
always comes to get in my mind is the image that I see and know from pictures I have in the house or that, So it's harder to visualize. It's easier for me to visualize Rinpoche here in the room because you're used to being with someone.
In person,
Yeah.
right,
You're used to seeing the picture of the Dalai Lama as opposed to his presence.
right.
Visualizing being here physically.
That's interesting.
Mm.
For you,
Yes. I kind of pictured him in my head, like standing right here, but constantly changing. Like one moment, maybe he has the hat on, maybe like he's 5'2". Next moment, maybe he's 5'3". Like constantly changing.
Okay, okay. Melinda?
Well, I did I thought to try to like have a, be like to stabilize my mind, I thought of a particular picture of him and tried to look at that. But when I just thought about him, I just got like feeling of like everyone is totally loved in this brightness.
Good. And Irene?
So I've been in his presence once. And it was over 10 years ago, and it was in New York City in Central Park. He was teaching to thousands of people in Central Park. And what came back to me was his laughter.
That's nice. Oh,
I heard his laughter.
good. Right. Joanne?
I pictured him smiling. But then what happens with pretty much and then I meditate, sometimes for passage meditation, I've done that too. But mind always goes into a yeah, but. Okay. Yeah, but. And takes me out of it. It's like it wants to analyze.
Yeah, this is quite often happen. Okay, now from online we have Carrie, Hansla, Lisa La. Hansla, can you tell us what came to your mind when you were visualizing His Holiness?
Well, as you know, I'm very bad with imagination or visualization. So when you were asking to do that, what came to my mind was that incredible moment when I was there with all the other students from Nalanda and went to him. And then there was, while I was thinking about that, and then my ego came in, and it kind of like he was saying, Hansla, come, come. So he was begging me to come closer.
Thank
That's
you.
kind of amazing.
Nice. Lisa?
What came to my mind is His Holiness and I were actually doing a walking meditation in the forest, and the sun
Oh,
was coming through the trees, and there was just this beautiful warm light that surrounded us with peace
mm,
and calmness.
that's nice. Thank you. Kerila? Kerry?
Yeah, I, not having met him, again, what Scott said about, looking at various pictures, I think I pictured the one that you have behind you, and
Mm,
I visualized that. But what came over me in doing that was just such a calm and such a sense of, love and comfort. And
that's
um, so I just stayed with that.
that's good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good. We're all trying, I think, pretty, in the right track. So in the matter of we need to continue. Yeah, I think Melinda, you have some question or you was no. Okay. I see. Okay. All right. So I think yes, we have some minutes. And yeah, we were talking. Yeah. Okay. When you all right.
Just think of visualizing sound. I was thinking that for most people, if you want to have a steady image, having the sound, imagining a sound is
The
constantly
vibration.
to, focus on. And that's really hard.
Sound.
But there's blind people.
Speaking more in the terms of like, when you're not even when you're really quiet, you can listen to it and hear it all the time. But basically, that static hiss that you hear in the air everywhere.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll find myself just kind of breathing and focusing on that, and it's expansive. Like I can feel it like go everywhere.
Vibration.
Essentially, I don't know if the sound is actually like a universal static or like the blood flowing through my ears. I don't know the difference. But
Okay. The way I think the wave interesting. That's what you say. The blood flow pushing. What you say the waves, sound waves, right? When you're talking about the continuity of the substance, and when you say the cause and condition, sounds produced from something. All composite phenomena are impermanent. Oh, all composite things are, what is that? Produce and production, meaning impermanent, production, functional phenomena, these are same. In all composite things are produced by cause and condition. And then when you say the cause, it has like two main cause. Usually it's summarizing two main. Then so what are they? It's called substantial cause and cooperative cause. Substantial, cooperative cause. Substantial cause and cooperative cause. And then when you say substantial cause in the substance, that the very substance is transport into that being. For example, apple seed. When you plant apple seed, the split right into the ground, it just turn into tree, right? The the continuity, the substance continuity, go to the next. It just transform. Like maybe use the easier gold or clay. Let's say clay. When you're making clay pot, so first we have the dust. I don't know what would the earth things, and we put water in it, and we make the dough. I don't know dough what, And there's like a mix of the water and the earth that they mix with the that's going to become a pot, right? So then by mixing and then we make it, then it become pot instead of clay itself, right? So the clay is the substantial cost of the clay pot. And then the person who is making the water, the moisture, the sunlight, the heat, the other ingredients within that, clay are called this, like what was that? Cooperative costs. Cooperative costs. So now here, this is the tricky thing here about sound. We some people, yeah, not I don't know all Buddhist school or not. There are some who believe the sounds doesn't have that. It again, when you say the continuity of substance, what was that? Uh, what did I say now? Substantial cost. The substantial cost. The substantial cost is the primary, the main cause, which transform into that being, the identity, the entity itself. And then the cooperative cause actually it cooperated to create the aspect of the clay pot. The clay pot and the aspect of the clay pot. Aspect of the clay pot means, the part of the clay pot. The clay pot beautiful, maybe shiny, polished, nice, big, small, whatever. These are the attribute or the aspect of the aspect of the pot, right? These are created by the substantial cause. But it's kind of interesting. For sound, there's no region, meaning there's something, some kind of substance that transport into sound. And then how come that it is like a like a something it is, how come it is like a uh production or compositional phenomena, if it doesn't have a like a substantial cause. It's interesting explanation given. Is I think this wave, when the scientists say the wave, the vibration, the first moment of vibration doesn't go to the next, right? It just they use this as the scientific explanations. I found really helpful. What they do like when to make a sound, the vibration they bang. What was the wave? The first bang to the next, and then there's like a numbers of kind of wavelength are there. It just when you make the sound, you just bang like this. You make bang like this, right? This doesn't really transfer into the sound itself. It just bang some kind of atoms over here, I guess, and they make sounds. And it's a push one by one to the next. It's not really transforming into the next. And because of that, it doesn't have the continuity of the types. In other words, you call types. Type means as a kind of same type of a sound that the earlier ones created that sound. Interesting. You can debate with that. And then how come about the smell and the tactile and others, whether they have continuity thing or not, and the mind, yes, it has. Anyway, I think we should stop now. Okay, the verse number 929 is about how to meditate shamatha and vipassana, where it says vipassana perfectly endowed with shamatha completely conquer all affliction. If ye really able to cultivate through vipassana, meaning vipassana is that the wisdom that could you see vipassana endowed with shamatha. Here actually talk about the shamatha meditation focusing on emptiness rather than any object. So the vipassana and the shamatha vipassana meditation, which endowed with shamatha is a stabilization, meditative concentration. With the meditative concentration, realizing emptiness, and then when the realizing emptiness, which is the vipassana, or the vipassana, we call this a vipassana, completely concur. So the Mishmata meditation, which like like complemented with complemented is a good word or not? here endowed with shamatha. I think it's a union of the vipassana and shamatha. The union of the vipassana and shamatha meditation, focusing on emptiness, will conquer all affliction. Not just normal shamatha, just shamatha and vipassana is common for all practitioner, all different tradition, almost every tradition. But the unique thing here, how do you really conquer your affliction? How do you really remove the all the affliction and the root causes of the affliction? And cognitive, the call is the obscuration of affliction and the cognitive obscuration. In order to be able to become fully awakened person or fully enlightenment, you have to conquer all the obscuration, and the cognitive obscuration, very subtle one. So here, vipassana endowed with shamatha, or the vipassana and shamatha union meditation, and which should complement or combine with bodhicitta, otherwise not possible. Bodhicitta, bodhicitta, which is aspire to become a fully awakened person to benefit all beings. The motivation has to be altruistic mind. Otherwise, it won't become like a special bodhisattva practice. It's just some, of course, it's very, very good, meditative practice, but you won't become cause that lead you to become fully awakened or Buddha. That's why it's a completely conquer all affliction. Knowing this and to cultivate meditative concentration that transcend, here you'd say, that transcend the four formless state, that transcend the four formless states, meaning where we talk about the three rams, the desire rams, desire rams, form rams, and formless rams. So these are the three rams, the cycle existent, or the samsaric beings. So it's going beyond that, which means liberation, liberate from self-grasping ignorance and self-cherishing mind or self-centered attitude. So which transcend from the formless ram, meaning when you say formless ram have 4 levels, formless rams are 4 levels, which go space like, I think. Yeah, I was just checking earlier.
Is jhana another way of saying that the jhanas, 4 jhanas? I think that's, it jhanas.
Jhanas is a Sanskrit word, I think, right? Sanskrit word. I don't know what does it mean by my Sanskrit. I know very little Hindi, and I think so. Let me just go over here. Okay, the form of civilization exists. The all of forms and it's actually, yeah, here. I'll just give you the 3 or 4 levels of the formless rams. It's a mental state. When we do meditate, all this, and then all the meditative absorption, all our mind become like a subtler and subtler, and all this grasping doesn't bother us. You can just remain, if any so noise and so many things are happening, but your mind is very still, and you can really focus exactly whatever you want. You are more like able to control your mind. So when you are really like generated to shamatha and vipassana, we are able to control our mind, and we can use wherever we want to use the mind. Okay, so the 3 rams are here. The form rams up 16 different levels. We don't go there. The formless ram is mentioned here. It's a 4. The 4 are here. It's called formless rams, known as limitless space, limitless space, limitless consciousness, and then nothingness, and then peak of existence. But you have to peak of existence. It's the absorption, it's meditative absorption. We need to train. Limitless space. This meditation, I sometimes find why we're doing this meditation. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Because you have to meditate like, the space, like, sorry. limitless space, limitless space. I mean, it just mind just go to everything is just turned like space. No kind of tangible thing. The things that can block you. Just think about everything is like space like. And if you're doing this, and then the mind just flow into the space. So this is what they, you know, explain. We don't, I don't have the experience, so but we can try. Limitless space, limitless consciousness. When you say limitless consciousness, then everything is just in the nature of the consciousness or the reflection of the consciousness. And limitless consciousness, and then nothingness. Nothingness. It's nothing. It's funny, the mind just become like blank a little bit. Not blank. Yeah, it's kind of not holding any kind of object by the mind. Some sort of this elaboration, just stopping. Yeah, stopping this thought. The thought, not all thought, but the thought that it's called the discursive thought. Some thought that disturb your mind. It's kind of, you know, and nothingness. And then the last one is peak of existence. Peak of existence. PEAK of existence. That's actually the highest in the samsaric beings. The highest being in samsara. But that's nothing. Oh, sorry. There's nothing is good there. Meaning you are in the peak of existence. You by meditating this, technique, you may be reborn into the peak of existence. That our mind is very not clear there. It's more like a just sitting there. That doesn't make. I mean, not just sitting, but it's become without meditating on emptiness and bodhicitta. Just try to maintain this mind, like try to cultivate this kind of mind, very not like engaging into the objects sort of thing. When this thought come, when these different thoughts come, it disturbs your mind sometime, right? And then you don't want to think anything. When you become sometimes when you become busy, and so I'm not going to think about that. And that's clear kind of indication that too much of thought disturb you. Anyway, but the real thing is, yes.
How does effort come into these four formless realms? Like what kind of effort? Like I would think the first you'd have to expend effort.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe when you get to the peak,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Peak of
it's
existence.
effortless.
It's become effortless, yes. The effort, it's depend on the practitioner which kind of meditation you're doing. Is this meditation you're doing to get enlightenment, or is just get to some kind of peace of mind yourself? But the peace of mind is more like more a temporary, mundane or super mundane. So you have the mundane level kind of peace of mind and the super mundane level of peace of mind. So if someone who have really really working with the how to really enter into the past and transform your mind into the understanding of different origination and the emptiness with the which complement with the compassion, loving kindness, and bodhicitta, and then by practicing of the bodhisattva's practice, then yes, it's what you say. What was the word? Effort. We need a lot of effort. Joy's effort always should be there. But then if it's just meditating, try to find like simple kind of a peace of mind, or not really just blocking all these thoughts. It's just the mind become kind of blank sort of thing, and mere kind of like single pointed meditation without analyzing much, it's not that great. Yes.
Oh, so can you just clarify this for me? So these are four realms that are part of the samsara, right?
Yeah. Three realms: desire realms, form realms, and formless realm. They are.
Are there karmic causes? You're not born into one of these realms, right?
We might be born in the past. You never know.
But I mean, is it the realms are they realms you achieve through meditation.
Yes.
As a human, do not realms that like I do certain things in my consciousness. I'm gonna be born the limitless realms. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not a birth. It's not a birth like some of the other realms.
You know the yes, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, formless RAM. Formless RAM. You know, when you're the rebirth system, when you being born, all this, the 12 link, independent origination, how you really take rebirth into samsara, and the limit. Formless RAMs. When we are reborn into the formless RAM, there's no intermediate state, and the formless RAMs have no kind of gross physical form. It's just consciousness.
So you can't be
But as a human being as a human, you can meditate this technique, and your mind can transport into the like a formless RAM's mind.
so it could be either.
Whether that person the person is in a desire realm, the mind could belong, or mind could transport to the formless realm, being formless mind. The formless RAM is a RAMs. There's a sentence that people can reborn into sentence like a formless RAM too, by creating the causes that reborn into the formless RAMs. But even though it's a form RAMs or formless RAMs considered to be highest beings in the samsaric, in the samsara, highest mean relative again, right? It's higher than human or the animal and the hunger ghosts and the like that, but it is the ultimate or not? It's not. The ultimate is Buddhahood. So for that, where you this the where the numbers what was that number 29 says, where it says cultivate concentration what is that? Yes. It's like beyond the formal Islam, right? See, where it says transcend the four formless realms, meaning you with this two meditation technique lead you to end of the all suffering, even though you are reborn into like a space like, or limitless space, or limitless consciousness, or and nothingness, or like these are level, like, and then peak of existence, but you still have this aggregate contaminated aggregate samsaric body, and you have suffering. But the no suffering or suffering, neutral. The feeling is always neutral. No pleasant, no suffering or suffering, the very gross suffering, but the feeling is always neutral. But yeah. Okay, I think we should stop here. We can go more. We can decide. There are a lot of things that you could, relate with that. I think we'll stop today. Thank you so much for coming, and let's dedicate for a few seconds by mentally dedicating that whatever the virtues or the positive action, action that we have created, to dedicate to long last, so that we will be able to continue this journey, learning, keep growing, keep expanding our heart. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.